Every time I even think about running for office, somebody in my circle hits me with the same line. Isn't it just a waste of money? Which is hilarious because this is Texas, the place where we will happily drop $68 on brisket, a cinnamon roll the size of a hubcap, and a Buc-ee's t-shirt that we already own. But investing in democracy? Whoa there, partner. Let's not get reckless. Now look, the whole waste of money argument would be a good point if the standard for worth it wasn't already being set by the two most wasteful entities in human history, the Republican and Democratic parties. These are the people who burn millions on consultants who can't spell infrastructure. And yet my filing fee is a threat to fiscal responsibility? Sure it is. Pull the other one. So let's cut through the noise. When people say you can't win or it's a waste of money, they're not telling you about me. They're revealing what they secretly believe about themselves. Here's the truth. That waste of money argument only exists because we've been trained. Yes, trained, like performing SEALs, conditioned to think that the system is permanent, that the incumbents are inevitable, and that political power is something handed down by party elders at a donor brunch, not earned by actual voters. What they really mean is you can't win the way the establishment says you're supposed to win. Which is fine because, unlike the big party candidates, I'm not trying to buy a seat. I'm trying to build a platform, one that doesn't require a donor class or a party machine to hand it to me like a prize in a Cracker Jack box. They think it's a waste of money because they believe that elections are simply carnival games rigged for the two big parties. And they've accepted that the two-party system is like gravity, unquestionable, unmovable, inevitable. And the parties love that. They depend on it. They feed on it. They'd inject it directly into your veins if they could get the FDA to approve it. Look, I will agree that money is wasted when it produces nothing, but a campaign isn't nothing. Let me be blunt. Running a libertarian campaign is not a waste of money. Running a campaign to prop up the same two-party circus performers who've been juggling the same talking points for 40 years, that's a waste of money. A campaign isn't just win or lose. A campaign builds influence, visibility, accountability, pressure, narrative, and community. It's a threat that the parties cannot control. And if you think the establishment doesn't notice that, ask any Texas Republican incumbent what keeps them awake at night. Spoiler, it's not the Democrats. It's the voters who finally stop playing their rigged game and actually vote for something that they can believe in. And let's not forget that the Republicans and Democrats spend more money on negative ads about each other than it would cost me to run my campaign twice. If they can spend six figures calling each other communists and fascists, I think I can spend a fraction of that telling the truth. And let's be honest, the price of not running also has a cost. It costs representation. It costs scrutiny. It costs every voter who's tired of being forced to choose between red team and blue team while the refs continue to pretend that the parties are impartial. And if I'm being even more honest, people don't think it's a waste of money because I can't win. They think it's a waste of money because they've already given up believing that they deserve better. And that's the kind of resignation the establishment loves. Here's the real contrast. The parties spend money to protect themselves. I spend money to talk to you. They invest in control. I invest in communication. They buy your silence. I buy a microphone. Running as a libertarian doesn't mean trying to outspend the incumbent. It means out-communicating him. And unlike most candidates, I don't need to pay 5 figures for a consultant army to tell me what my authentic voice should be. I already know how to do that because I've been doing it in these videos for free. If anything, running as a libertarian is the discount version of campaigning. Smart, lean, direct. Not the bloated political Golden Corral buffet that the big parties are shoveling down your throat. A smart campaign isn't a cash bonfire. It's disciplined, it's transparent, it's lean, and it's built on a message that people actually want to share. So yeah, I've got about 2 weeks to make a final decision, but maybe it is expensive, and maybe the odds aren't pretty, but you know what? That says more about the system than it does about me or my libertarian candidate friends. And if we're being blunt, if the only people who ever run are the ones guaranteed to win, then congratulations, you've just turned self-government into self-checkout. The machine does the work and you just pray that it doesn't malfunction. But you know what's even more expensive than running? Silence. Silence is what keeps the same people in power doing the same things while we pretend we're powerless. And if the only reason to not to run is that it might not work, then the system has already won because it's convinced you not to try. So is it a waste of money? I don't think it is. I think it's a challenge to a system built on the assumption that people like you and me will stay quiet. And if that idea makes you uncomfortable, if the idea of speaking up costs too much, that's exactly why you should be pissed off.